Before you plan your day, before you check your calendar, answer messages, or open your laptop, take a moment and ask yourself something you've probably never been taught to ask. What if the goal isn't to get more done, but to feel more at peace? We live in a world that equates movement with meaning, that praises urgency, idolizes multitasking, and rewards exhaustion like it's a badge of honor. We've been conditioned, quietly, constantly, to measure our worth by our output, to treat stillness as laziness, to confuse a full calendar with a full life. But what if we've been chasing the wrong thing all along? What if progress without peace is just pressure, and freedom, the very thing we think we're working for, is lost in the noise of always trying to do more? Maybe you're not burned out because you're broken. Maybe you're burned out because your life was designed for productivity, not for presence, not for peace. This video is your invitation to question that design, to step off the hamster wheel, even just for a few minutes, and imagine a different kind of success. One that feels like clarity, like breath, like home. From the time we're young, we're taught that doing more means being better. Better students, better workers, better people. We're handed planners, performance charts, and gold stars. And slowly, without realizing it, we start to believe that our value lives in what we produce. We become fluent in the language of output. Faster, smarter, harder, now. And when we grow up, that pressure doesn't leave. It just gets dressed in professional clothing. Suddenly, success looks like early mornings and late nights, overflowing inboxes, multitasking everything, never not achieving. But here's what we don't often talk about. Behind the polished routines, the color-coded calendars, and the motivational mantras, there's often something else. Fatigue, disconnection, a quiet ache that whispers, "I'm always doing, but I don't feel alive." You answer messages faster, but you feel less seen. You check every box, but none of them seem to matter. You keep running, but you can't remember what for. This is the illusion of productivity. It looks like control, but often it's a form of self-abandonment. You start performing your life instead of living it. And peace, it becomes a luxury, a thing you'll get to later, once everything else is handled. But later never comes. Because the to-do list doesn't end, because productivity doesn't complete you, it just keeps moving the finish line. So no, productivity isn't the enemy. But when it becomes the metric for your self-worth, you lose the most essential part of living, presence. Peace is one of those words we throw around, but rarely pause to understand. It's not just the absence of noise or a candlelit moment in the middle of chaos. It's something quieter and far more powerful. Peace is not about escaping life. It's about relating to it differently. It doesn't mean quitting your job, moving off grid, or deleting every app. It means finally coming home, to yourself, to your rhythm, to what feels true, not just impressive. Peace is permission to stop rushing, to stop explaining, to stop proving. It's the simple act of honoring your nervous system, saying no without guilt, pausing without panic, and letting silence be enough. Peace is drinking your coffee slowly, without checking a screen. It's walking without earbuds, sitting without multitasking, being okay with a messy inbox because your inner world is finally starting to feel clear. Peace doesn't shout, it doesn't hustle, it doesn't demand you be better. It reminds you that you already are. When you begin to design your life around peace, you start asking different questions. Not, what do I need to achieve today? But, what do I want to feel today? You shift from urgency to intentionality, from performance to presence, from doing out of fear to choosing from alignment. And in that space, life softens. But it doesn't get smaller, it gets truer. If peace, not productivity, became your compass, how would your day look different? How would you look different? This isn't about abandoning responsibility. It's about reclaiming intention. And that starts with asking better questions. The kind that don't just organize your schedule, but reveal your soul. So before you plan your next week, ask yourself, what truly nourishes me? Not just energizes me temporarily, but sustains my spirit over time. What am I doing just because it makes me look productive? And what would I stop doing if I didn't need to prove anything? Where have I confused busyness with meaning? What could I gently remove that I've outgrown? Not just physical clutter, but stories, roles, or routines that no longer fit the person you're becoming. If I did less, what might I finally have room for? That project you keep deferring, the connection you keep missing, the you that keeps getting buried under busyness. These aren't checklist questions. They don't come with instant answers. They're invitations to sit with yourself, to listen past the noise, because clarity doesn't come from pushing harder. It comes from getting honest and soft enough to hear what's underneath. You don't need to change everything overnight. You don't need a perfect plan or a 30-day challenge or a color-coded system for becoming Zen. Peace doesn't begin with a grand gesture. It begins with a soft one. Start small, start real. Replace 1 hour of mindless scrolling with 5 minutes of real presence. Look out the window. Feel the weight of your body in the chair. Let silence be enough, even if it feels unfamiliar. Cancel one commitment that drains you, not because you're flaky, but because your energy is sacred. You are allowed to disappoint someone else to stay true to yourself. Create space in your day that has no agenda, a no productivity zone, not for output, just for being, for resting, for breathing, for remembering who you are when you're not trying to be anything. Let yourself rest without earning it. You don't have to exhaust yourself to justify peace. You are worthy of calm, even on the days you don't deserve it. And when the voice inside says, you should be doing more, pause and gently ask, more of what and for whom? Because making peace a priority, not a prize you get after burning out, is an act of radical self-trust. You're not falling behind. You're finally moving at the pace of your own soul. This isn't about abandoning your ambition. This is about remembering that you are more than what you achieve, that your life is not a race to be optimized, but a sacred space to be felt. You were never meant to live like a machine, churning through tasks, chasing goals you didn't choose, measuring your worth by your output. You were meant to breathe, to feel joy without justifying it, to rest without guilt, to exist fully without earning your place. Because no amount of productivity, no stacked calendar, no gold star, no inbox zero will ever feel like freedom if your life doesn't feel like yours. So before you plan your next step, pause. Ask, what kind of life am I designing? And is it one I want to live? Let your days be rooted in meaning, not just momentum. Let peace lead. Let alignment be enough. Because peace isn't passive, it's a powerful decision, a defiant kind of clarity. And it begins the moment you stop chasing and start coming home to yourself.